My name is Angelica London. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I am a full-time visual artist as well as a kindergarten through second grade art teacher in the Southside neighborhood of Chicago, Inglewood. I started painting as a career in 2010. I took the semester off from school. I actually went to Columbia College, Chicago, and my major was art and design. So I took a semester off and I didn't have a job. I wasn't in school taking classes, so my art business kind of formulated from there. I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, so a lot of my friends were Greek, and so they asked for paddles and paintings. I did murals in a couple friends' homes during that time. So that was really the start of when my art career kind of blossomed out of necessity, because I wasn't in school, I wasn't making any money, so I had to find a way to get that creativity out while also making money. When I started painting, I consider myself a mixed media artist, so I use everything. Some of my pieces can be collage with paper, some of them can be acrylic paint, oil paint, but there's always a 3D aspect to my art. So being in the past a jewelry maker, I always end up kind of including some sort of jewelry piece. So whether it be fool's gold or some silver or something, I'm always attaching those pieces to necklaces, earrings. Because I paint a lot of Black women, I like to show them in a very regal way. So those 3D editions help me do that. Throughout the years, my art has changed because my influences and what I've been around has changed. So being an elementary school teacher, I'm around beautiful Black children every day. So the addition of Black kids as my subject matter was created during that time. So I've been a full-time teacher for about 3 years now, but teaching before that off and on for about 10. So now that I'm in the building with kids every day and seeing their joy, seeing their pain, seeing their beautiful faces, hairstyles, clothes, all of that, that's added to my level of inspiration. I'm inspired by Black women and children primarily, or just the African diaspora as a whole. I think that Black people were absolutely beautiful in all aspects. We're beautiful visually, we're beautiful culturally, we're beautiful by our tenacity and just strength that we've had throughout the years pushes me to want to create those images and showcase them to different people that don't necessarily consider themselves in that diaspora. So for me, I look at Black women and children a lot as inspiration. As a woman, I want to show us in a regal manner. I want to show us in a way that we don't normally see in museums. My hope is to show us in a way that's not shown in museums. So I love when I'm creating and I see, and people look at my work and they're amazed at the beauty of the image. It's because it's something that they don't see or something that they don't pay attention to on a daily basis. So my goal is to push those images to the forefront to show a wide variety of people our beauty and our strength. My kids inspire me and influence me to do the work that I do because I want them to see a Black woman creating something that looks like them. So my favorite times are when I'm not shy with my students about what I do. So a lot of them know, Miss London's gone because she's doing a show. Miss London did this weekend. I'll show pictures. So I always try to show them that one, that creativity, that they can use their creativity in a career that will get them far, but also not being afraid to show that, not being afraid to show them that they're beautiful and worth being painted live at a charity function, put in an art gallery, things like that. So they inspire me to just keep working as well as inspiring me to create images that look like them. I've been fortunate to be the first art teacher that my students have ever had. So 2 years ago, I taught middle school, and then last year I started my elementary school career. So both times, my students had never had art in their life before. So for me, it's really important that I be that first step into the creative world for them, and how I do that is by starting with Black artists. So my kids know about, Kehinde Wiley. They know about those names that are big, but they also know that they can be those people. So we always start with our first projects being mimicking their work or learning about the history of their work. And I've seen my students grow with patience, because I think with my middle schoolers, especially when you start art in the middle school age, they can be so self-conscious. So, I was able to relax them enough to feel comfortable with showing their creativity. With my elementary school artists, they find my room as refuge. So a lot of times, there's a handful of students that if they're having a rough day, they'll ask, can I go to Miss London's room? Can I go sit in the art room? Can I play with some clay? Like, that is what draws them to have a better day. So if I'm in that position to give that piece to my students, then I'm doing my job correctly. I love painting on wood. I primarily paint on wood because I feel like it's a great base for our skin tones. Also because I like to disrupt the space, and the bulk of my locations that I paint are all white spaces. So the wood that I work on is typically like a 2-inch profile. So in addition to painting Black women, Black images in those white spaces, I'm also disrupting the space because it's just large. The size I like to use is typically 24 by 36. My ultimate goal with my art is to inspire. So I want to be that artist that little kids can go into the museum and say, she used to teach me in school. I like that relatability, and the fact that there's no, I'm not too big for them. Like, I literally have been in the school system, but now hopefully in the future we'll be in massive galleries and museums and things like that. My ultimate goal with my art is to inspire young children. So I want them to be able to see themselves in spaces that were primarily white, primarily not allowing them into the space. I want to be able to share their stories with people of all walks of life. The advice I would give to someone looking into getting into the creative field is just to push forward. So there's going to be a lot of naysayers, there's going to be a lot of ageist for sure. So if you're young, I was one of the youngest, not one of the youngest artists in every art show I did in the beginning. So I was fortunate to be in that room with other great Chicago artists, but I was the youngest, so I would get that ageism, but it helped me become better. It helped me realize that I just need to be proud in what I do and what I'm giving to the public. I'm not creating to make money. I create because I just feel like that's what I need to do. So if you continue to push forward with your passion, I think that will get you further, for sure. But also knowing what your message is. At the beginning of my art career, it was like a lot of, oh, I just paint because it's pretty, or I paint because I like this image, or you know, I painted a lot of musicians in the beginning of my art career, so it was like, oh, I like their music and blah, blah, blah. But I think when you develop your story, when you develop why you do what you do, I think that'll help you get even further and just give you some longevity in this field. Chicago is a very creative place. I am from here, but grew up on the East Coast, and so I feel like, no shade to the East Coast, but I feel like they're not as open on the East Coast, at least where I was. Chicago, I vividly remember in grammar school going to the art museum, going to the aquarium, exploring those cultural aspects of the city. And because of that, it, you know, informs my art because it was all around me. So as an adult, being a Chicago artist, that same story is true. It's all around us. There's murals everywhere, there's festivals everywhere. You can go to, you know, whatever neighborhood and be influenced by that culture. So Chicago's a great place to be an artist. I think that there is an endless amount of inspiration all around us.